Train attack number 2. So if you saw the first video, I talked about my first train attack in Japan, and that was from an old man who elbowed me in the side. It was an obvious attack. Illegal assault is what it was. This attack number 2 is a bit different. My second attack, this was many years ago, was the perfect attack. This person punched me in the back as I was standing, and I was kind of shimmying or walking through a very crowded train aisle. So this train was really crowded. It was a morning commute. This was on the Odakyu line, which is in Tokyo. Runs from Shinjuku down to Odawara through Kanagawa. So it's a busy line. You know, almost every train line in Japan is very busy, but the prime commuting hours are really busy. So morning, and it depends on the direction of trains. Always depends on the direction. So this was a morning commute, morning rush hour going into Tokyo. So this was not like some of the worst videos you've ever seen where train staff were cramming workers into the train. It wasn't that bad, but it was pretty crowded. So this attack, as I said, was the perfect attack. So I had gotten on the train and I started moving away from the doors into the less crowded aisles. And I was kind of walking slowly between people, and someone punched me in the back. Yes. And it was a closed fist. And it was a girl punch or a woman punch. It was a light pop. It wasn't like full on, you know. They weren't trying to break ribs. This was just like not a warning shot, but it was like a girl punch. But it was definitely illegal assault. You cannot do this in Japan. It is against the law. So, obviously, I couldn't do much. What happened was I was hit in the back, and I was kind of standing there like, what? I just got punched. Someone just punched me in the back. WTF, right? So I turn around almost immediately, and there were 2 women standing there. And they were like, doop-de-doo, like nothing's happening here. Like, I think they were just looking at their phones. They weren't even looking at me. They didn't look at me at all. Just like nothing happened. So basically this attack, there was nothing I could have done. In the first attack I talked about, it was obvious who did it. The man was sitting next to me and there was nobody else around. So that was really clear. But this attack was the perfect attack. It was basically anonymous. I couldn't see who did it. I turned around. No one looked at me. They pretended I was dead. So basically, in this situation, there's not a whole lot you can do as a victim. You know, if I was really angry, I could have grabbed the 2 women and been like, don't move. And, tried to stop the train, call the police, have them look at the cameras. But again, like my first attack, this was early days. This was this is the beginning of my time in Japan. So I was like, what that was stupid and strange. Someone punched me in the back, really? But I didn't really have a plan or an idea of what to do because I would never expect this, right? You never expect people in Japan to physically assault you. It's crazy. And so later, after it keeps happening over and over and over, as you'll see in this playlist or this series, I'll tell you all my attacks. You start to think about what to do. Like, what do I do? This keeps happening. This is crazy. I keep being physically assaulted in Japan by Japanese people. So what I said in the last video is, at a minimum, you should do what they did to you right back to them. But in this case, you don't know who did it. So you're already out of luck right there. You can't respond or retaliate in kind. You don't know who hit you. So in this situation, if you stop the train and pull the emergency stop button or whatever it is, lever, the train's going to stop. Maybe someone's going to come. I don't think they're going to spend the time to review the video. They can't on the spot. They're just going to get this train moving. Trains have to move, especially during rush hour. They got to keep moving. So maybe they would pull me off the train. They would, look at the car, look at the door number, and maybe they could review the camera later. But again, probably nothing is going to happen to help you. They would be polite and they would probably admit, sorry, we don't know. There's nothing we can do. So this was the perfect attack, right? So about these attacks, and I said some of this in the first video, and I'll repeat these in the next videos, why these are happening. These are racist attacks. And why do I think this is racist? Because, well, I don't think Japanese people are hitting Japanese people randomly for no reason. I just don't imagine that's happening. I think I'm being targeted because I'm not Japanese, right? So I made a video before about a subtle form of racism on trains, and here it is. You can watch it here, about racist seat shifters. These are Japanese people who keep moving away from me for no reason. They move away, they slide one seat over, not to sit by themselves. They're sliding away from me to sit next to a Japanese person, right? So if a space opens next to me, if a space opens on the other side of that person, they'll move away from me just to create space between me and them, right? This also keeps happening in Japan. You should watch this video. So Japan is very racist, and the racism form comes in passive, non-physical assault ways, which is seat shifters, racist seat shifters, people moving to move away from you, or in violent ways, physical assault, people punching you, people hitting you with their elbow in your side, illegal assault. So the form of racism in Japan comes in many ways. You have to be prepared, right? So another thing is, as I said in the first video, there's posters on Japanese trains warning people of assault and saying physical assault is a crime. Thanks. But again, on these posters, there's a picture of a beer. There's alcohol on the poster. That's wrong. Physical assault is not happening late at night from drunk people. Probably is, but not for me. My physical assaults are happening in the daytime. Just normal, sober people not drinking at all, right? So the sign is partially correct, but it's not talking about all assaults, right? So my assaults don't involve alcohol at all. A friend of mine was assaulted every day in high school, sexually assaulted. I made a video about that here. You can watch it here. So every single day she was groped or touched. It's called chikan in Japan. Chikan means body contact. So she was touched every day by men going to work on a morning commute or by usually university students. They didn't have alcohol involved at all. So they were just sexual perverts sexually assaulting her, right? Without alcohol. Same with my attacks. There was no alcohol. They're just racist people attacking foreigners on trains. So you need to understand this about Japan. So in the first video, I talked about how I think Japan is more dangerous than even America. And I think that's true. I think the number of attacks is much higher in Japan based on the multiple women I've talked to who have all been sexually assaulted on trains and my many assaults, right? So yes, the violence type is worse in America. They have guns, but I think if they had guns in Japan, there would be a lot of mass shootings because there's already a lot of physical assault in Japan. Something you need to know. Japan is not safe. Japan is dangerous. Japan is not polite. Right? Physically assaulting and sexually assaulting people in Japan is illegal. It's a crime. That is not polite. Something I'm a little bit envious of is, at least with sexual assault, they're attacking people because it's sexual attraction. This is twisted, I know, but it's a little bit flattering. At least they like someone. They're attracted to someone. With me, it's not even that good. It's just physical assault. They're not complimenting me or flattering me because they think I'm handsome and they're grabbing my butt or they're touching my dong. They're not doing that. They're just attacking me. So Come on, Japan. At least flatter me when you're going to attack me. Come on, say I'm handsome and then punch me. I'm joking here, but you get the point. It's all bad. It's all very dangerous, right? So watch out when you come to Japan. You might be attacked and you need to know how to respond. So, as I said in the first video, if you know who your attacker is in this second attack, I didn't know who they were. If you know who they are, do the same thing back to them, number one, at a minimum. Number two, stop the train. Make the train staff come and escalate this issue. Make it a big problem. Even if it's on the most crowded, busiest train in Japan, 6 p.m. or 7 a.m., doesn't matter. Stop the train. Escalate the issue. Make sure the police come and then point out your attacker. You should have already taken a picture of your attacker before, so you know who they are. If they try and escape, grab them. Hold them by their clothes so they can't get away, right? So you need to help yourself, but you also need to protect future victims because these people are brazen enough to just attack foreigners on trains or Japanese women with chikan. So they're brave enough to do this in the daytime without alcohol. Completely sober people just attacking foreigners or attacking Japanese women. So you are going to be helping future victims if you report these people. So take their picture, stop the train, get the train staff to come, get the police to come, block the doors on the train, don't let the train move. Make sure this goes up and this is escalated. When the police have this person, you're good to go. Make sure they get their number and they actually do something. Don't just say, oh, good job, thanks, I gotta go, and get back on the train or get the next train. Don't do that. Make sure the police take this person to the station and make a report if you have to. You are going to be protecting future victims. Thanks for watching Dangerous Japan.